had bowling alleys. The shooting was on the campus of South Carolina State University. Pastor Thomas was a freshman at the time. He is married, has one daughter and 2 grandsons. Marlboro County High School, please stand on your feet and help me give Pastor Thomas a full-dog welcome.
Thank you, Brother Goodman. Thank you, Principal Dr. A. Hampton, and to all of you, Sister Terria Hayward, and to this fine school. I've been at several events in the month of February today, and this is by far the best yet. Let's give yourself a hand. again to Johnny Converse School in Marion. And I don't want y'all to throw me out, but we also at Fulham Garden School. Y'all know anything about Fulham? Yes. Okay. A couple of weeks ago, and also St. John Early Church in Marion last Sunday, but this is far better than the ones that we participated. Hurriedly, have any of you heard anything about the Orangeburg Massacre? Would you raise your hands? I see about less than 1.1% have. But just want to brief you on that incident briefly. 48 years ago, I enrolled at Claflin University in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Thank you, Mrs. Thomas, my wife. Raise your hand. God bless you. Yeah, give her a hand. 42 years of marriage to this. During this time, there was a segregated bowling alley in Orangeburg. The word segregation means to be separated. We were allowed to go into the bowling alley to use the vending machines and other things, but we're not allowed to bowl. Earlier that week, during February 8th, 1968, we were doing settings and different things, trying to make life better for the citizens of Orangeburg. During that week, 2 girls were accosted by some other folks. One of them sustained a broken arm. The other girl sustained a concussion. Earlier that week, February 8th. Fast forwarding, on Wednesday, February 7th, we were told by both presidents of South Carolina State University and also Claflin University to merge on each campus, and Presidents Nance of South Carolina State and Manning of Claflin University held meetings with the students. We were told to stay from congregating downtown and to stay on campus, and all of the classes were suspended. But we took it upon ourselves to disobey them. Both presidents were responsible because our parents sent us to learn. Late that Wednesday, we all converged on the campus of South Carolina State University in the auditorium, listening to the presidents and some students that were upset about the living conditions in Orangeburg. The presidents told us to stay on both campuses, and all the classes were suspended, and we were not to go off campus. Fast forwarding Thursday, which culminated the whole incident. Earlier that day, we all went to breakfast, or most of us anyway, and came back to our dormitories and still felt uneasy because of those 2 girls that were beaten, plus the bowling alley that we were not allowed to participate in. Late Thursday, 5, 6 o'clock that afternoon on the 8th of February, those students from Claflin and South Carolina State decided that we would go back to State's campus. And during that time, somebody started a bonfire. The fire engine was sent to out that bonfire, and while that was going on, somebody hit an officer. There were supposedly 900 sled agents, 9 highway patrolmen, and several National Guardsmen. And during that exchange of anger between the students and the law enforcement, somebody was hit with a piece of wood, a banister. And I was told later that that banister triggered those officers to get ready to charge or to shoot. I heard what I thought was a firecracker or a siren. It could have been both. But at that moment, I felt a warm feeling the left side of my face. I really didn't think about it because I thought it was just somebody throwing rocks or something. And I noticed my face was bleeding, left side of my face, and I looked and my face was all shot up. Several teeth were missing, my tongue was split in half. Just a small portion of my tongue was hanging from my mouth. Don't want to be too graphic. Realizing that I had been shot, the next thing I realized that I needed to get away from harm's way. I remember turning, and then another bullet hit me across my chest, grazing my chest several milliliters. And then I realized that I had been shot in my arm. My right arm was shot. The bullet had gone through the bicep in one way and came out the other side. Then I couldn't walk. My left leg had been shot. Right above my knee, one bullet came through the left side and exited out of the right side. And as I realized, I was wearing a blue Parker jacket. Blood was all on the back of that jacket. And I realized I had been shot several times in my back. But all of them went through. Not a muscle nor a bone was severed or broken. Making it to the infirmary, I saw where it was, maybe 200 or 300 yards, the length of the football field. I saw the infirmary on the campus of South Carolina State College. And I realized I needed to get there if I could. I made it to the doors, and I remember collapsing. And while I was lying on the floor, I heard one of the nurses say to another person that was attending to those that were shot, "We're just going to clean him up and get him ready for the undertaker." But my wife is a retired nurse, and she always says the hearing is the last thing to go. So I could hear what they were saying. And then I heard that Samuel Hammond, a freshman that played football for South Carolina State University, could have easily gone to the Dallas Cowboys or some other professional football team. I heard somebody say, "Sam is dead." Then I heard another person say that Henry Smith from Marion was shot. And they had beaten him with billy clubs, and now he's dead. And then I remember hearing that Delano Middleton, a high school, I think he was a senior at Orangeburg Wilkerson School, he was dead. All of the streets entering Orangeburg were blockaded, and the only thing that they were allowed to come in were those hearses that came from whatever places that they were coming from to pick up those that were dead. My father, the late Jesse Thomas, knew one of the undertakers in Florence, South Carolina. He was able to get in touch with J.O. Smith. It still exists. Smithfield home in Florence. My father and Mr. Smith drove from Florence to Orangeburg to pick me up in a hearse because civilian vehicles were not allowed to come to Orangeburg. Coming back from the hospital to the dormitory, I met my mother, my father, and my two sisters. Matter of fact, my older sister gave me an F in the 9th grade. Well, she really didn't give me an F, that's what I made. And they told my sister that they were going to transport me and my family back to Florence, McLeod Infirmary. And when I got there, the same words that the doctors and the nurses said in Orangeburg were said at McLeod Infirmary in Florence. We're just going to clean him up, get him ready for the morgue. There's no way he's going to live. But 48 years later, I'm still here. And as I close, there were several candidates in Florence County and Marion and different places that looked for my community's support. There were 4 candidates in particular that ran for House 69 in 1984 in Florence County. 3 blacks and 1 white. 3 blacks, their occupation was a black lawyer, a black realtor, and a black school superintendent. The white guy was a graduate of Francis Marion University. They interviewed me on Channel 13 in Florence, and they asked me who would I support. And I told the interviewer that I'm going to support Carol Basie, the white candidate. I got to work that next morning. My wife called me from her job, and she said, "Have you read the Florence Morning News?" I said, "No, not yet." I get the paper and I'll go to my desk and read it. And while I was sitting there on the headlines in the Florence Morning News, it read, "Local preaching, local minister supports a white candidate." And I started to call Channel 13, but I didn't because I didn't. I'll leave the rest for you to decide. But during that same day, somebody asked me, a white interviewer, "Why would you support a white candidate over a black candidate?" I said to him, I supported the white candidate because he was more qualified. And then I thought about it, you know, something has happened to me for me to do this. And it's all about doing the right thing. I'm just like Dr. King. We should not be judged by the color of our skin, nor the content of our character. Because he says if I could just help somebody as I travel along this way, then my living will not be in vain. There are different ethnicities in this house, in this place. And as I leave this podium, to some I would like to say hasta luego, till later. To some I would like to say parlez-vous français, please excuse me. And to the rest I would like to say I love you. God bless you.
Next, we will have an excerpt from our Marlboro County High School teachers as well as students. That will be followed by remarks by Dr. Hampton.
Not right now.
Speak Your Names, a poem by Pearl Cledge. Because we are free women, born of free women, who are born of free women, back as far as time begins, we celebrate your freedom. My sisters, we are gathered here to speak your names.
You could not have been in each of our little black girl bedrooms watching us hold that make-pretend microphone as we lip-sync to your greatest hits when dinner was ready downstairs, or prayed for your safety when our parents told us you were somewhere fighting for our freedom and it was a dangerous work.
From you, we learned that love, like beauty, comes in many forms. You showed us what love is like when it's perfect and when it isn't. You let us watch you looking, reaching, yearning, always moving toward the light of something better, truer, deeper. We speak your names. We speak your names.
Maya Angelou, Ruby D, Coretta Scott King, Cicely Tyson, Diana Ross. We speak your names. We speak your names.
We celebrate your courage. We celebrate your spirit. We celebrate your genius. We speak your name.
We speak your names.
Gladys Knight, Hattie LaBelle, Margaret Flack, Beyonce Prince, we speak your names, we speak your names. We thank you for these wings, and we stand before you now, your living legacy, the flesh and blood of our collective dreaming, and we realize with the knowing deeper than the flow of human blood and human veins that we are part of something better, truer, deeper. We speak your names. We speak your names.
Good morning. Good morning. This has truly been a wonderful day and an outstanding day so far here in Marlboro County, and especially here at Marlboro County High School. To the faculty, staff, the administration, and our students, you are to be commended for this excellent celebration of Black history. As I was sitting there, I was just thinking about my grandmother, and my grandmother was a retired school teacher. She died when she was 98 years old. And at the age of 90, she was still being asked to come to schools to talk about our history as African Americans. And the last time she went, they said, "Miss Wood, tell us about Black history." And she looked at them and she realized and she said, "You're looking at Black history. I am Black history." So I want you to know that this morning we have been blessed to touch history, because we have history here with us this morning. With Reverend and Mrs. Thomas, and we're so happy that they have taken time out of their busy schedule to come and share with us, because sometimes we forget what price others have had to pay for us to be able to experience the freedoms that we experience in this great country that we call the United States of America. And I want you to know that even though the month of February is set aside for the celebration of Black history, that we should learn to embrace and learn the importance of diversity, because it takes all of us to make up this great nation. And one thing about African American history, at the center was always the church. The church plays an important role in the lives of African Americans. And so we sung this in elementary school, but I want you to remember this. Be it yellow, black, or white, we are precious in His sight. Jesus loves the little children of the world. So remember, He loves all of us and it takes all of us to make this world. Thank you, and have a good morning.
Another proud moment to be a Bulldog. And once again, what we have done is what we said we were going to do since the beginning of the year, which was we were going to show the world, and what we were going to show them is that Marlboro County High School is a premier high school, not only in the state of South Carolina, but in the nation. So give yourselves a big round of applause. I echo the sentiments of our leader, Dr. Tiller. I couldn't say it any better myself, so I'm not going to try to. All I'm going to do is say thank you. Thank you. Please join me in thanking Mrs. Hayward, who was the chairperson for this program, and all of her team. I'm not going to call out names because I'm a preacher's child, and I should know better than calling out names. So her entire team, you know who you are, because I don't want to leave anyone out. Give me another round of applause to your classmates that helped make this happen. And please join me in inviting our chorus as they sing the Negro National Anthem. Lift every voice and sing. Please come forward. And just for history, just like we stand for the American National Anthem, we should stand and be quiet for this one as well. So please stand.
O'Neill, and I'm here with the superintendent, Dr. Tiller. Can you tell us how you thought about the program today?
Today, our program, our Black History program, it was absolutely excellent. We had an opportunity to hear from a famous person in history who was involved in the Orangeburg Massacre in 1967, Reverend Thomas. And so I thought it was an excellent program, and it was great for our students to be able to hear the price that several people had to pay for our freedom.
I agree. Can you explain to us why Black history is so important?
Well, I think Black history is important because we need to remember the sacrifices and also the contributions that Black Americans have made in helping to build this country. And we also need to realize that it's important to celebrate not only Black history, but all history, because the United States, America, we're a melting pot, and it takes all of us to build and to have this great country to be the #1 nation in the world.
And lastly, can you name a few highlights of this assembly?
Well, I think there were so many. Of course, our guest speaker, Reverend Thomas, was a highlight. But near and dear to my heart is always our students here at Marlboro County High School. We have the best students in all of South Carolina. And so I was very proud of everything that our students had to contribute to this program this morning.
Okay. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.
I'm here with Marlboro County High School's principal, Dr. Hampton. How are you doing today?
I'm doing fantastic. Very well.
What did you think about the program today?
I am just without words, be honest with you. It was an excellent program, well put together, showed a good picture of the history, the journey, a very appropriate name. I'm very proud, very pleased.
Can you tell us some of the highlights, in your opinion, of today's assembly?
It's hard to say highlights. What I think I like the best is that we actually showed the journey. So we went from the beginning when we talked about the middle passage. I also like the fact that without even saying it, we inserted historical figures like Whitney Houston with The Greatest Love of All, Stevie Wonder, the jazz piece, because music is such a big part of the Black history. So I think that we just did an absolutely amazing job covering what it is about Black history, which is our history.
And can you tell us why it's so important for our students to learn about the culture of Black people and all cultures?
Well, diversity is it's important because sometimes if you get stuck in your own bubble, you don't know that there are other bubbles. So it's very important for us to learn about each person's struggles, each person's triumphs, so that we can then work even more cohesively together to continue to make this America the great America that it is.
Okay, thank you for your time.
You're welcome. Thank you for your time.
And I'm here today with
Pastor Frankie D. Thomas.
Can you tell us a little about yourself?
I'm a product of the Orangeburg Massacre that happened February the 8th, 1968, where 30 students were shot. Out of those 30 that were shot, 3 died and 27 of us were wounded.
Can you tell us how you felt about the program today?
I've done several Black history programs around the state, but by far this has been the best one yet. I've enjoyed myself at Marlboro School.
That's great, that's great. Can you explain to us some of your keys to success? Keys to success?
Say again? Say again?
Some of your keys to success.
Perseverance, study, determination, those 3 and more, I could say are the most 3 that I consider as being successful events in my life.
Okay. And can you tell us a little bit about how your life is right now?
I'm content about the way things have gone in our country. We've gone and we've had some strides, but we still have a long way to go because of the Blacks and the whites and other ethnicities that have done things that have propelled our situations, and we're grateful for the determination that me as others have made to make sure that everybody has a chance that wants to have a chance.
Thank you. Okay, thank you for your time.